What's good, creative fam? Brandon Washington here. And in the world of filmmaking, next to cameras, because I mean, let's face it, who doesn't love cameras? I think my next favorite thing is lighting. I love lighting. I mean, the stuff that I see in movies, I'm always dissecting how the DP was able to create mood and everything else when it comes to light. And recently, I've been going through my entire lighting collection and really just figuring out what I want and how I'm going to use it and all these great things. But it really started making me think about light modifiers. I mean, as much as I love lighting, I think modifiers really are where I see the biggest difference. I mean, for example, this light here, which is the Aputure 120D, and this is the first one. This has been a light that's been in my kit for so long, and it has been my favorite light to date. But the reason why this light is so amazing isn't just because of the way it's built or the light output that it is. It has a lot to do with the modifiers that I pair with it. And so in this video, I want to actually walk you guys through my top 3 favorite light modifiers and tell you how I use them in order to make my videos really stand out. Now, quick little disclaimer. This video is going to seem sponsored, but it's not sponsored. I promise. Aputure has not paid me anything to make this video. In fact, they don't even know that I'm making this video, but it's just kind of a coincidence that my favorite light company, Aputure, also happens to make my favorite light modifiers. But I'll definitely be giving you guys other examples and other options with all these different formats. But without further ado, let's jump into my favorite modifier, which is the softbox. All right, so this massive thing here is I'm not gonna hold this. So this thing here is the softbox. Now Aputure has their light dome, which is their version of a softbox, and I love this modifier because it's the one that I use the most. I mean, in fact, I'm actually using a different softbox that's not Aputure. It's actually made by a company called Cheetah, and I'm actually using that right now to be my key light. Now, when it comes to softboxes, there are tons of different ones, but the reason why I really like the Aputure one or the Cheetah one that I use for my YouTube videos is because they use something called a Bowen's mount. And this is going to be something you're going to see regularly throughout this entire video. I love the fact that the Bowen's mount actually works directly with my Aputure 120D. This means that it's very easy for me to attach the softbox to it and then ultimately take it back off. Now, the reason why I love softboxes and the light dome when it comes to light modifiers is because it takes what otherwise would be a very small lighting source, like the chip size on the 120D, and it makes it this large lighting source. And of course, as most of us know, the larger the lighting source and the closer you can get it to your actual subject, typically the softer the light is gonna be. And so when you're using a softbox, you're actually able to make your light a lot softer. Now, as great as soft light is, soft light's not always the best solution. A lot of times I actually like to work with hard light and really being able to control and direct the lighting source. And so the way I like to do that is by pairing my 120D up with the Aputure 2X Fresnel. So this is the Aputure Fresnel, and this is something that I use with my 120D in a lot of different situations. The first and most important reason why I use this is to have controlled hard light. Now, the nice thing about this Fresnel is that it was actually manufactured and designed to work with the Aputure 120D and all of Aputure's lighting products. So that way it can actually flood and spot the light directly into the area that you're hopefully trying to illuminate. But I've also done some really creative stuff with this here. For example, not too long ago, I actually released a cool little video about lighting here on the channel. And in that, I actually had a spotlight coming straight down onto me, which I was the subject. And that is something that you are able to actually pull off with this light. I mean, because of the versatility of being able to actually turn it and actually go from having a wide beam of light to a more narrow beam of light, you're going to be able to dial in your shot. Not to mention that with Aputure's 2X Fresnel, it literally makes the light twice as powerful. And so if you need more light in a scene, this is definitely a great way to go. The last reason why I love using this light is because it really works well as a hair light. Whenever I actually have this set down to a more of a spotlight, I can then have it go right behind my subject, which creates a really, really nice edge light. And again, because I have so much control with the spot and the width of the beam of the light coming out of here, it really does help me out a lot. But I will stop gushing over this and move on to my third and new favorite modifier, which is the China ball. So the official name of this guy is Aputure's lantern, and I pretty much just call it the China ball. And this light works out really, really well as a nice soft light, but more for when you're trying to actually cast more light into your overall scene. I mean, I've used this thing as a modifier when actually lighting two different subjects at the same time because it gives a full 360-degree angle of soft light. The other thing that I really love using this thing for is top-down shots. If you've ever tried to create soft light for a top-down shot, I mean, you can pretty much cancel out the Fresnel altogether. And then if you've ever tried to do it with a massive softbox like the light dome, you pretty much run into issues of space and just the spread of light. But by using something like the lantern, it actually allows you to get nice soft light across the entire thing. I love using it for top-down shots, and it's really become one of my new favorite modifiers and something I've been taking out on set with me a lot. Now, just like the light dome and the Fresnel, this one also uses a Bowens mount, which means it's super easy to attach it to the light and then rig it onto a C-stand, throw it above head, and be able to get some nice soft light for my overhead shots. Now, sure, all three of these modifiers are amazing, and they are my favorites by far, but you can find alternative versions to all of these. For example, like if you don't shoot on the Aputure 120D, I actually don't recommend you pick up this guy here, the Fresnel, because it's designed specifically to work with Aputure lights. However, if you do work with Aputure lights, then this is definitely the Fresnel I would go with. There's so many different creative ways that you can use all these different products in order to better suit your lighting setup, because at the end of the day, as great as the cameras are and as great as, lenses might be, if you don't know how to light your subject or light your scene properly, it really won't matter because your footage won't look good. So I do strongly recommend that you guys get into lighting, start using some of these modifiers to level up your lighting game in general. Now, if you're not really sure where to get started in lighting, I strongly recommend you check out our guide, Beginner's Guide to Lighting 101. This guide goes over everything you need to know to get started in the lighting world. We talk about all the basics. We even go over more in depth on these different modifiers. And all in all, I really do think it's a great starting ground. I've had a lot of people ask me about how to get better at filmmaking. And so we created the Creative Fam Academy specifically for you. So thank you so much for everyone who's already checked out some of the training courses. It helps support this channel, but more importantly, we hope that it's helping support you and making you a better filmmaker. But thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you have any additional questions about any of these modifiers or my lighting setup, let me know those questions down below in the description so I can add them to a future video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.